This is Ashley Foston in Paige's interview.
Okay, so what is your name and does it have any meaning to your family?
My name is Laura Vanderstuyf, and my first name, I don't think it has any particular meaning, but I was the only girl out of 6 boys, and I know that my mother was ecstatic to have me after having 4 boys, and then after me, then there came 2 additional boys. So my first name, I think my mom just liked the name Laura, or it was one of those 60s, names. I was born in 1964, so, lots of people with the name Laura, and so I have a feeling that it had something to do with being a 60s or a 70s name. Our last name, Vanderstuyf, means from the dust, and apparently Dutch names, the van and the der means from the, and then the last syllable means what you're from. So I guess, the old adage, from dust you were created and dust you will return. So,
do you have any interest or hobbies that you like to do now or in the past?
Hobbies that I like to do now or had in the past. Okay. When I was a teenager, and I liked to scrapbook, and I still like to scrapbook, but unfortunately do not have the time for it, or I don't make the time, or I don't utilize my time well enough to be able to fit that in. And secondly, I used to have pen pals. I know that's an archaic thing nowadays because everybody using social media. There's not a whole lot of people who write letters anymore, but I had about anywhere between 18 to 20 pen pals that all had to do with horses. They all had horses, I did not. So they talk about their horses, and I just nod my head and go, yeah, that's great. I wish, all I knew about them was what I read in the magazines. So that's it.
Do you have a favorite sports team? Why?
Favorite sports team? I would probably have to say the Hawks, because when I was a little girl, I used to listen to the Hawks on the radio and go to sleep by listening to the Hawks games. So I would probably have to say the Hawks are probably my favorite.
Okay. What accomplishment in your life are you most proud of?
Oh, having my 2 lovely daughters. Yeah, that's my biggest accomplishment. So, yeah.
Pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
How is the world different now from when you were growing up?
Wow. You said a mouthful there. Oh. When we were growing up, everybody knew your neighbors. I lived on a pretty large size block, if you will, and pretty much everyone knew your neighbors. You could go to them for anything and everything that you needed. Now we live in a cul-de-sac, and unfortunately, even though we know our neighbors, you might not always feel comfortable asking them for things. Our next door neighbors, that's not the case. We constantly go back and forth with one another, and we're neighbors like it was when I was a kid. Unfortunately, all the garbage that's on TV and all the mixed messages that poor teenagers are being fed all the time, that I have a really difficult time with, because teenagers are growing up a lot faster, they're maturing, they're developing a lot faster because of all the images that they see.
Okay. How did the Vietnam War affect you and your family?
Wow. I just remember as a little girl watching the news reports every night, just saying on how, what was going on there, what was, the Agent Orange chemicals that were, the chemical warfare, the, stuff that, wasn't used in other wars, and, how, and the thing that just really saddened me the most was when I found out that when these soldiers came back from, Vietnam, people would literally spit on them when they walked off the plane. And to me, that just breaks my heart, because when I see any military personnel now, I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because they gave everything. And then you see some of these people coming back and they have difficulty getting jobs. They have PTSD and PTSD, sorry, post-traumatic stress disorder. And having an uncle, my uncle and my godfather, who liberated the Jews from the concentration camps, really, really stuck out in my head and really, made me think. And then my aunt saying that he would have nightmares, from his experiences. So yeah, that's a huge thing.
What was your first job that you had?
My first job, probably a paper route when I was 8 years old, and I tried to instill that on my daughters, on how the importance of just working hard, and like I said, and just learning to that things do not come, like I said, just because, you have money, you have credit cards, you have whatever you have, you know what I mean, does not mean that you don't have to work hard for what you have, a good work ethic. So I think that, to me, is very important. So.
What kind of music did you enjoy when you were a teenager?
Oh, I liked the Beatles. I liked, oh gosh, let's see, what other ones? REO Speedwagon, Foghat, all the 70s, good 70s and 80s bands, yeah.
What was your favorite place that you traveled?
My favorite place I traveled had to be Camp Shawanassee. That was our 4-H camp that's in near Kankakee, Illinois, and we would be so excited to go to that family camp that we would almost be literally wetting our pants. We were so excited to go there.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this part off,
Okay.
Miss Gack, so I can send it to you in like different parts. So we'll do it in 1 second.